Hi, we're here with Next MV. It is May 2nd, and we are still here in this Washoe County gym because we're here with.
Cathy Durham from West Wendover, Nevada, public rural high school teacher.
And what are you doing here today, Kathy? And what do you want to see happen next, maybe? And you're part of Nevada.
Yeah, well, I am here because I am one of the candidates that is running from the Congressional District number 2, and I'm here to interview for the job of being the representative for Northern Nevada.
And it feels like you're part of that real Nevada. Let's not beat around the bush here, right? Vegas, it's a nice place to visit, do some gambling, but once you go north of there, you're in real Nevada. So what do you think that perspective being from West Wendover, sort of the eastern part of the state, gives you? I mean, you're looking right at Utah border, but do we need to implement more Utah changes in CD2 maybe?
Well, I am originally from Utah. I grew up there, but I lost a bet to my husband. So talk about Nevada
This
and
is-
gambling. I lost a bet to my husband about whether or not there would be a history job available at the local high school. And I said to him, I'll tell you what, I'll call up, I'll interview. And if there's or I'll call up if there's an opening, I'll interview. And if not, you can never say move in West Wendover in the same sentence again. And 2 days later, I had a job, and it was the best bet I ever lost. So
This is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
A winner of a lost bet here is
Yes.
a new Nevada resident.
Yes.
What, all of a year ago or?
26 years ago, almost 27 years ago. So I have been teaching history, government, and economics to the students of Nevada for the last 26 years. And it's just been an absolute great experience for me. I never thought in all of my life that I would ever run for Congress.
Yeah.
But I realize now that all of my experiences, both growing up in Utah in a rural farming community, and then moving to West Wendover and living the rural Nevada life,
Yes.
understanding what it's like to be far from Vegas, far from Carson. You know, when people say you're from Nevada, oh, Vegas, no. Oh, Carson, no. West Wendover, where?
Exactly.
You know, and so, people talk about driving through the rurals or visiting their families in the rurals. I raised my family in the rurals, and I understand what it means to be a rural Nevadan, and I understand what it means to struggle with the issues that rural Nevadans have to struggle with: lack of health care, lack of certain amenities that other places have, having to drive very, very long distances to get to the certain things that you need and want in your life.
Well, and that's like the now of Nevada too, because the rural versus urban divide is hard to explain to those who maybe don't live in rural Nevada.
Right.
But when the cost of fuel matters to you because that's how you get somewhere and get back from somewhere, that's maybe the now in Nevada, the current concerns. But what do you think will happen next in Nevada? And what would you like to see happen next in CD2? You're
Well-
going to take the chair. You're going to be our leader. What do you want to get done in our area? Or what advocacy do you think is missing that you think should be brought forward in your district?
Well, like I said, I never thought I would run for this job. But the reason I am running is because the checks and balances, separation of power, and the rule of law that I teach my students about in government class, that is not what's happening in Washington. Okay? The dark chapters of history that I teach are exactly what's playing out all across communities across this country. And I want to stand up for democracy because I understand that when dark times come, that when good people stand by and do nothing, not good things happen.
Yes.
And so that is why I'm running, because I'm running for my kids, my grandkids, my students, so that they can have, for you,
Yeah.
okay? So that you guys can have the same opportunities that I had when I was growing up. So that's what I want to do, is I want to make sure that we are a republic. I get that. But democracy, little d, is how we conduct business in our republic. And I want to make sure that we shore that back up. Now, we got some issues. You talked about gas prices.
Yes.
Okay, gas prices, food prices, healthcare costs. Those things are all going up. What do I want to do when I get to Congress? First of all, we restore the cuts that were made to Medicaid. We need to take the tax breaks that were made permanent for the ultra wealthy and the billionaires. We need to get rid of them. We need to extend them for me and you, the working class, and we need to make them permanent. The no tax on tips is a great thing, except for that expires in 2029. How about we make that one permanent? Yeah, people
That's a
don't
good
know
one.
that.
I didn't know that.
Social Security, no tax, expires in 2029. Most people don't understand that. So we need to make those tax cuts for us permanent.
Got it.
Okay. Now let's talk about the price of gas and the price of groceries and Medicare. Okay. What healthcare and the food industry are monopolized by about 4 different companies. They own it. We have returned to a Gilded Age economics. It is time that we enforce the antitrust laws. We need to break up the monopolies, and we need to restore true competition.
Wait a second. That guy with the mustache and the top hat, you're not a Monopoly fan? Because somebody just explained to me that's actually a rule of law that monopolies aren't supposed to happen, but they seem to happen a lot nowadays, right?
What you're seeing in a lot of the industries, whether even the media industry, we are starting to see the vertical integration of the industry and the horizontal integration. So vertical, you own every single aspect. Insurance companies own the hospital, they own the equipment in the hospital, they own the doctor, they own the pharmaceutical company, they own the pharmacy, they own the pharmacist. So you're paying the same person over and over with every bill that you get.
And it's kind of, when that self-stack happens, the opportunity for consumers to actually benefit disappears. And that's why NextNV vows to this day that we will be an independent media source until somebody offers me $42 million. Thank you. Continuing.
Okay, yeah, so I mean,
It's a true story, yeah.
We need to make
I
sure
have a
that,
number, yeah. It's okay.
Okay. Well, I believe in capitalism, but I believe we need to have capitalism with a conscience. And capitalism with a conscience means that we put people over profits and we put communities over corporate greed. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and one of the issues that we have with Nevada and our economic issues is we need to diversify our economy. And everybody says, oh yes, let's bring in the data centers.
Yes.
But let's talk about how they are raising our electric bills, driving up energy costs. They're drinking up our precious water. They're emitting toxins into the air. And then more importantly, what nobody else seems to want to talk about is, what is that data being stored for? It's being stored to create the AI that's going to come for our jobs. Okay. And it's not only does it come for our jobs, that data is being collected every time you use your phone, every time you do anything that's AI. They are using that. They're using it for surveillance shopping. They are, Ford Motor Company just patented.
So what's next for Nevada, and maybe next for America, is a dystopian future of AI overlords viewing everything we do.
Yeah.
I do think that is, at least 50-50 going to happen. But, I feel like, can Congress play a bigger role when it comes to saying, yes, these businesses are doing that, but we do need to have some limits, some guardrails, and some understanding of what's inside the box, maybe.
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. The government exists to protect our creator-given rights. The government doesn't give us our rights. The government's job is to protect our rights. And so
great.
Congress needs to do its job in making sure that any business that wants to operate in our free market, fair market, capitalist enterprise is free to do so according to the laws and regulations that do not take away the rights of the people.
I love that. Well, thank you again for being on NextNV, and look forward to seeing you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.